In today's video, I'm going to rant about inspectors. I'm sorry. I'm going to mention 3 reasons why they make this permit processing so frustrating. I hope you guys take something out of this video. I hope you guys enjoy it. And don't forget to like and subscribe at the end, okay? It's ridiculous. It's I don't understand what they're trying to do. They don't really offer a huge service. I understand the purpose of the permitting to make sure that the customer is going to be safe after you're done with your installation and you don't go in there and do some Mickey Mouse work that's some hack job. It's a good idea in theory, but really sometimes it feels like it hinders the process because you go and you install a system into a home for somebody. You can install it all wrong and just stay within those codes that they tell you to stay, where the customer is not gonna die. But it doesn't matter if the system's gonna work or not. It just, I mean, now they're implementing this Hearst testings. So you get a Hearst tester to go over there and check that the ducts are not leaking and that it has enough refrigerant. Okay, but that still doesn't ensure the customer that the installation was designed correctly. So that's what kind of frustrates me. But what frustrates me the most is the price. The price, because I'm trying to be competitive. But there's companies here that they're working, kind of similar to me. I'm a small guy, small company. Um, and they're working for practically just labor alone. I don't know if they plan to stay in business for long, but they don't charge enough to cover the permitting and license. And at every city you go to, you have to pay for a license. Okay, so you go to City of Montebello, you have to pay for a license to pull a permit. You go to Monterey Park, you have to pull a license to pull a permit. LA, you have to pull a license to pull a permit. Every city you go to. So my point is that it just varies from city to city, and it can get kind of frustrating because for many different reasons. Reason number one, which was the one that motivated me to make this video. Reason number one, okay? This permit that I'm going to show you right now, I'm trying to cover up the address so you don't see the address, is for city of Alhambra, okay? It is for $363.10, okay? All new installation, okay? Now, I go to city of Montebello to pull a permit, okay? 1,097.81. That's with a discount because the lady that worked there had, she saw that I was kind of upset about the price, and she decided to give me a little discount. She deducted her fee for looking at my plans. She made me draw out like specific plans, like where are you gonna put the furnace? What material are you gonna use? What, all kinds of stuff like that. And so, I had to draw, something like this out. Oh, it's kind of hard to show you on the camera, but basically had to draw out everything, where everything was gonna go, and um, what kind of strapping I was gonna use. I don't know if you can see that, but so I wasn't able to pull the permit right there and then because um, I guess they only work in the morning and they leave at 12. So I got there like at 11, 11:30. So they had to go. Okay. That's issue number one, the price. How much it varies from city to city. And um, honestly, I don't feel like the customer gets, you know, the service that he thinks he's getting. I have so many customers with problems with their systems that I go to their house and they tell me, well, I tell them that this is wrong with the system and that's wrong with the system, and they tell me, Well, the inspector okayed it. He signed off. He finalized the permit. Well, yeah, they finalized the permit. That doesn't mean that the job was installed correctly. Okay, the inspector is not there for that. The inspector is there just to make sure that you're not gonna die. And I explain these to my customers, and it just doesn't make sense to them, and it doesn't make sense to me either. Like, why don't you let? I mean, I don't understand how the customers don't know that. Um, Actually, I do understand. It's not their job, you know. That's not what they do for a living. They don't know what the inspector's purpose is. All they know is the inspector has to okay it, and then it gets signed off, and then everything is okay, right? So that's kind of upsetting because I understand, like I said, I understand the purpose of pulling a permit and having the inspector go and okay the job, but I don't think everything is being done for the right reasons. I think everything is just money, moving, and that's it. It's not about the safety, not the safety. Well, even the safety, because sometimes these inspectors have okayed stuff that go back on, and I'm like, how can they okay this? How did this pass inspection? Okay, it's like Romex wire exposed or flexible conduit exposed outside to the weather. It's not, you know, liquid tight or the conduit that's for made for outdoors. It's conduit, electrical conduit that is made for indoors, and it gets okayed. So stuff like that happens. Inspectors okay it. I don't understand how that gets okayed. Okay, so that's frustration number two. They okay stuff that is really bad, and then they'll nitpick about my work sometimes. It's like, okay, well, this safety overflow switch, why did you put that? Why didn't you run the secondary drain line outside? So that's kind of frustrating. Like, seriously, that's what you're gonna nitpick about? You're not looking at this clean installation that I just did. You know that it's better than everything else that you've seen, yet you're gonna nitpick about that. Okay, whatever. Okay, issue number three. Okay, I had a customer tell me today, actually, because I was there. I'm almost done with her installation. It's for this job in Montebello. She had to get her electrical panel upgraded. So the inspector tells her that he's gonna be there sometime between, I think she said 10 and 4, if I remember. No, 9 and 4, if I remember correctly. Between 9 and 4. Okay, so she says, why such a big window? Why can't they just call me and tell me I'll be there in an hour, 30 minutes, you know, or whatever time it is? But no, they give you a 9 to 4 window. What? I one time had an inspector. I had a inspection in the city of Burbank. Okay, and I live in LA. Okay, and it's not too far, but with the traffic here, it's about maybe 45-minute drive from where I lived at in LA. LA is huge, so I was in East LA, closer to Whittier, like East LA. So I had to go to Burbank. The inspector said to call him at about, I think, 8 o'clock to find out what time the inspection was going to be. So he tells me the inspection is gonna be, so I call at 8 and no answer, and I call like at 8:10, 8:15, and then he tells me they told me that he was gonna be there between 9 and I forgot what other time. So I start driving that direction, and I'm like, okay, because when you call for inspection, they don't tell you, okay, yeah, you need an inspection, for tomorrow. Oh, okay, okay, yeah, the inspector's gonna be there between 10 and 2, whatever it is. No, you have to call in the morning to find out if you got on the schedule for the inspector to inspect your job that day. Okay, so I have to call him. I call him. He says that, yeah, he's gonna be there between, I forgot what time he said. Give me a early morning window between 9 and something. I'm like, oh wow, I better hurry up and get there. So I get there like at, I don't know, 9:15 or so, um, because I'm driving from out East LA. So when I get there, I'm just waiting and waiting, and then the inspector, I guess, had already been there, which I didn't know. But he drove by, which was nice. He drove back, I guess, at like around after he was done with his second inspection, and it was, I don't know, 10, 8:30 or so. I don't remember what time it was. But he drove back and then he tells me, where were you? And I'm like, well, I just, I was in East LA. And when I called, I found out that you were going to be here at, such and such time. So I rushed over here. I go, but I'm coming from East LA. I didn't even know if I was on the list for inspection or not. He's like, well, I drove by. You weren't here. You're lucky that I drove back, through here. And I'm like, all right, fine. I'm not going to argue with you because if you argue with the inspectors, they're just going to give you a harder time. So sure enough, he looks at everything. He thinks everything is fine. I mean, that job was beautiful. It was just like if you've looked at my other videos, my other installation videos, it's everything is spotless. It's clean. Like you don't see other, it's rare to see other installations that look as good as the ones that I do. And I'm not bragging. Look at my videos, you'll see. So he goes to look at my installation. Everything was fine except he wasn't familiar with track pipe, which is a flexible gas hose that we use here. If you want to, you can. It's an option, um, and it's safe. I mean, so he wasn't familiar with it. He wanted me to show him specs on the track pipe, and I'm thinking, why do I have to teach you? Why do I have to educate you about your job? Shouldn't you be getting educated on your own? Like if a new product comes out, I don't understand that. When I got my contracting license, I was told, okay, it's up to you. You need to keep up with the codes. You need to keep up with the new products and everything, and that comes out. Inspectors can't do the same thing. Okay, so that's really aggravating. They can't, number one, they can't call the customer 30 minutes before they arrive to let them know so they're not standing around all day and waste their whole day. And then they can't keep up to educating themselves. They can't keep up to date with the new products that come out that get approved. They're UL approved or whatever approved, by the gas company or whoever it is. I mean, they really aggravating. So if the inspector, so then the inspector tells me, I need to show you, and I go to my vendor. I said, hey, the inspector is asking for this. Do you have anything that I can show him? Um, the guys are looking at me with a blank stare. I'm like, well, I don't know. And they're asking me like exactly what does he want? I go, I don't know. He wants specs that show that, this pipe can carry the rated BTUs for the furnace, blah, 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 which I understand what he was asking. But the point is that um, that pipe doesn't take away anything. There's no friction loss or whatever. There's no capacity loss from that pipe. All you have to count is the feet because the pipe is not half inch like a half inch galvanized pipe. It's a little bit, it compensates for that. But it's frustrating that I have to educate him. I had another case. This is going to be a long video. I had another case with another inspector where and he upset my customer, and that upset me because my customer thought that I did something wrong. But what happened was that he told my customer I installed a 90% efficient, a condensing furnace, it's called. So it's a 90 plus efficient furnace, which means that you'll use up more than 90% of the gas. It'll actually go into heat for your home. So it's very efficient. And you lose so little heat that you can actually vent it with a PVC pipe or ABS. So that's what I installed. I installed a PVC pipe to vent it up through the roof. So the customer calls me and is pretty much upset with me, saying the inspector said that you installed the wrong kind of pipe, vent pipe for the furnace, that it should be a metal pipe, and I don't understand what's going on here. You're supposed to be the professional, blah, blah, blah. And the customer is upset with me. So I try to, control. I'm not a hot-tempered guy, I like to think. And so I talked to the customer calmly. I told her, okay, I'm gonna go to your house. I'm gonna show you in the installation manual what you gotta show to the inspector because I wasn't there for that inspection. It was just a furnace change out, I think it was. It was something simple. So I showed the customer where the installation manual where it says that you can install ABS pipe to vent and what diameter has to be and everything. So I highlighted it. I said, when the inspector comes, just show him this. It'll be fine. I don't think that the customer really believed me, but when the inspector came back and the customer said, yeah, everything was fine, he looked at it, he said it was fine. So you see where I'm going with this? It's frustrating because they're on your case where you gotta be on top of your game. You better know what you gotta do, and they look at you sideways when you're like, what do you want? Oh, you don't want Romex wire, you want EMT, or you don't, I mean, uh, flexible conduit or whatever. It's kind of aggravating when they do stuff like that to you, yet they don't keep up on the latest greatest that's coming out. And they're always innovating. They're always coming up with new stuff. So it's kind of frustrating. Okay. So anyways, I think that I'm gonna stop right there because this video is gonna end up being too long. But that's my my rant for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. Remember, if you're a new contractor and you're pulling permits, let the customer know. Permit fee is, I'm gonna do it separate from now on. I'm gonna tell them this is my price for the installation, and the permit fee, that's separate. It depends on the city. Some cities are $300-400, and some cities can be $1,500. I'm gonna let my customers know that from now on. I just I'm not gonna take a chance anymore because I don't, I don't have time to be driving around to each city and asking them, hey, how much do you charge for the permit? Hey, how much? This city, Montebello, I know I said I wasn't gonna go long. Just a building permit fee alone, $638 with 81 cents. Okay, that's to put just to pull a permit. It's not even your permit fees. Okay, what do you do? Okay, so that's my rant for today. I hope you got something out of it. And yeah, my eyes are going bad, so I gotta wear glasses now. I hope you got something out of it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.